Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Dr. Kim Duramo. I'm an osteopathic physician. I'm going to be sharing today about how to ignite that power in your body. For many of us, this goes untapped, especially when we buy into the idea that we're powerless, that our health comes from outside of us, that if we have something physical going on, we must need a physical thing like a chemical, a pharmaceutical in order to fix it or correct it. And that just isn't true from the science we've seen over the last several decades, certainly throughout my career. I have left my career in the emergency medicine space, doing trauma and critical care medicine, because just the way that I operate, being super intuitive, being able to just really tune into what's going on inside a person's body, I wanted to use that awareness and do something that is more powerful for what I'm designed to do. So I have the ability to really connect with someone immediately and know what's going on in their body, and then help them reverse that so that their physical disease reverses. So for people who have had chronic autoimmune disease, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, anxiety, depression, things where there don't seem to be any answers for, and certainly not in the conventional model, which is focused primarily on the physical, it can be really limiting. And so many people have gone being told they have a chronic disease and they'll never get better. And that is really where my expertise lies, is helping people reverse that, resolve that, and live disease-free. So I want to say hello to everybody who is joining here live. You can post in the chat, and I would love to hear from you what your questions are, any comments or insights. And also for those of you who are listening to the recording, I will come back and check on questions that might come up that I may be able to address. So the first thing I wanted to share is about what has been termed the field of psychoneuro endocrine immunology. It first started out in the 90s as psychoneuroimmunology. Science began to show that our thoughts affect every cell in our body, in our immune system, in our digestive system, in our endocrine system, our hormones, that everything in our body is communicating, and that our thoughts, and specifically our beliefs, which are the thoughts we have most strongly bought into as true, have a profound effect on everything going on physically. And this has been shown to be actually not like an insignificant side thing, like, hey, you've tried everything, maybe now you can meditate. It's actually been shown to be the number one most powerful factor that will determine whether you have health or whether you develop disease. So we've seen that our beliefs, the way we think, the perspective we hold, is going to affect what's going on in our cells, in our body, in our health. And so whether we think, whoa, that's bad, oh, that shouldn't have happened, or, oh, I'm not good enough, or, oh, I've got to protect because the world's not safe, fill in the blank, or we believe, I receive my life fully, it's okay, the universe is on my side, I receive what's happening, and I know it will ultimately create something maybe I don't see right now. That kind of belief is going to actually create an entire different physiology in your body. So that's kind of the first thing I wanted to share, is your beliefs are the most powerful medicine that you're taking every day. And it's subconscious, is playing in the background without you even knowing or noticing, but it's actually having the most powerful physiologic effect in your cells. The main thing that's important about this, and this is the second thing I wanted to share today, is that this not only creates cellular changes, chemical changes, physiologic health changes, but it also affects your DNA expression. In fact, over the last 20 years, there's been a lot of studies that have pointed to the fact that it's not just a matter of the genes we have or the genes we don't have that's going to determine our level of health or disease. It's the environment those genes are in. So the chemicals your body's secreting are actually what determines whether you turn on those genes for disease or you turn them off, whether you turn on the genes for vibrant health, anti-aging, longevity, or you turn them off. And this also goes back to point number one. It has to do with your own beliefs. So I'm going to do a little exercise here, and I want you to ask yourself, what's showing up in my life that may be unwanted? whether it's a disease, a chronic condition, or a circumstance that's happening, like, oh, I never seem to have enough time. I never have enough energy. I never have enough money. Or it may be in your relationships. Wow, I just wish I could connect with this person, or I just wish that person would leave me alone, and you want some resolution there. Take a moment, and I want you to feel, not just think about it, but actually feel what you feel in your body when you think of this experience. And actually just take a few deep breaths. Bring your attention to your body. Bring your awareness to what's going on in your life, what's going on in your health, what's going on maybe in your relationships. And I want you to actually start to feel what you feel when you do this, just for a moment. Do you feel pressure in your chest, a fluttering in your belly, a heaviness on your shoulders, an ache somewhere in your body? So just tune in right now and actually have the experience of this thing. A lot of times we think we're experiencing it all the time, but we're actually blocking it out. We're distracted. We're trying to get into the mind and figure out, what do I got to do right? How do I avoid this? How do I outrun the tiger? This is all part of the fight or flight mechanism that actually has been shown to underlie every major disease we've ever seen, every major chronic illnesses that don't get better no matter what we do, is living in chronic fight or flight, constantly in the mind trying to outrun the tiger or fix the thing or find a solution or even self-heal. Yeah, because self-healing can become the next thing you're on the treadmill for. And it blocks the physiology that's already within you that can allow everything to heal, that could allow everything to resolve. So I want you to feel into that area of your body where you felt tension or fluttering or heaviness or whatever you felt when you tuned into your body, and actually move into it instead of out of it. Most people are in their minds, which triggers that fight or flight mechanism, and we're breathing up into the upper lung fields. We use the accessory muscles of respiration. So you're using your neck muscles, your shoulder muscles, you're tensing your body. If you relax your shoulders, just take a big deep breath and let everything go. And just simply let your shoulders relax. Slow and deepen the breath. Relax the shoulders. This alone shifts your physiology from that fight or flight physiology, which in the chronic state has been shown to cause illness, and immediately brings you into what's called the relaxation response, the parasympathetic nervous system, which has directly been shown to reverse disease. So one thing you're going to use as a tool and a takeaway from this presentation is to just remember, when you feel tense, when you feel stressed, when you're trying to solve anything, first step, relax your shoulders, breathe more fully. And the reason this is so powerful is because not only does it immediately shift that fight or flight mechanism from creating all the inflammatory hormones and chemicals, cortisol goes up. It shifts that from happening physically and cellularly, but it also shifts the messages being sent to your DNA immediately. So your body knows how to turn those genes off that cause disease and how to turn the genes on that promote health, longevity, anti-aging, repair. But the first step to that is actually shifting out of fight or flight and into this parasympathetic state. So just one more time, breathing. Relax your shoulders. Breathe more fully. I have a lot more on this and really fun, easy mind body tools at drkimd.com. Most of my stuff is free. I do a live broadcast every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Facebook in the Mind Body community. So you can join there if you want to go deeper with this. Most of these things are so easy because the innate intelligence of your body is so much more powerful than we've been led to believe, and that most people think is possible within them, especially if they bought into the idea, I'm broken, I can't be fixed, with anxiety, with depression, with a chronic illness. So if all you remember is one thing, when I'm stressed, when there feels like there's no answer, no way out, and I feel like I'm running the hamster wheel, relax my shoulders, breathe more fully. We're going to add to this, however, and I want you to begin to let your breath come all the way down to your belly. It's a practice, but it actually allows more of your attention to come into your physical body instead of having your attention replaying those belief systems in the mind. The belief systems will always be limiting because we actually can't heal ourselves. We can only surrender the body, relax the body, and breathe the body with our presence here so that healing can happen. It has to come through you. It doesn't come from you. And it certainly doesn't come from a pill. If you're interested in going further with mind-body medicine, as I said, I would love you to, you can go to my website at drkimd.com, and there are plenty of resources there. So I want to shift for you another major powerful tool with how we transition from the mind and the thinking, and I've got to fix it, and I've got to learn more, and I've got to try harder, and maybe I'm going to change my diet, or maybe I'm going to go to a different practitioner, to actually begin to reside in a space where healing happens automatically. So yes, you can do lots of exercises to change your beliefs. And I do use so many of these in my practice with individuals all over the world, with groups who I work with. Something as simple as ask a better question. What else is possible here? You know, when we're challenged, when we can't find our way out, what if there's something possible I hadn't even imagined? And then simply come into the frequency and the energy of that question. In fact, in my best-selling book that I've written, The Mind Body Toolkit, which we've got the second edition of it coming out in November, that will be available soon. This is one of the main tools I put in there. You know, I'd studied a lot about psychoneuro immunology. I'd studied a lot about mind-body medicine as well as conventional medicine. But all the stuff I learned was the information. And my big question was, so now what? How do I activate that? What do I do to ignite that healing? You know, your mind and body are connected. They're in constant communication that does affect every cell in your body. And the second point, your body is able to self-heal and self-regulate. So my big question was, how do I activate that? And that was exactly why I wrote the book as I did, 10 tools to use anytime, anywhere to activate this power in you. But, you know, as I said, you can change your beliefs, you can ask a better question, but a really powerful way, anytime, anywhere, to activate this healing in you is simply to get out of your mind and into your heart. And if you bring your attention to this area of the body, put your hand right over the space of your heart, touch it, bring your attention there, and begin breathing into this area of your body. So relax your shoulders, presence and sense this area. 10 slow, deep breaths will immediately ignite a powerful healing mechanism in your body. In fact, I'm going to talk about this more in tomorrow's talk, which is at the same time. It's at 2 o'clock Mountain in the Best You Expo. It's how your body affects your reality and working with your biofield. What we've seen is the electromagnetics of your heart. You know, if we do an EKG, we're looking at the electrical activity of the heart. We can actually detect this up to 10 feet away from your physical body. And the electromagnetics of your heart are the most powerful center, communication center in your entire body, more powerful than your brain. That means that your heart is constantly sending out a communication to every part of your body. And we've seen with current medical science that when we bring our attention to this area and breathe into this area of the heart, It sends new messages to repattern what's happening in the brain. So we actually get out of fight, flight, fear and into clarity of the higher mind. Because there are neurons not just up in the brain traveling down through the body, but all in this area surrounding your heart. They're called sensory neurites, and there's great power here. So in the last 2 minutes we have together, I'm going to have you practice this and just slow and deepen your breathing. So the first part we did, relax your shoulders, breathe more fully. And then bring your attention to this area of the heart. You can place your hand right there and just take several deep breaths, letting this area expand as you inhale and letting everything release as you exhale. And do at least 5 breaths like this now. Sometimes people will tell me, I don't feel anything. When I bring my attention into my body, I don't feel anything. So it seems like nothing's happening. It's never true. You are registering immense amounts of information here. Wisdom, clarity, insight. But because you've not paid much attention to that and been spinning the belief systems in the brain, which so many of us have been trained to do, we actually just block that information out. And it can be a very short period of time, within just a couple of days of practicing this, that you begin to reignite those areas in the brain that are registering this kind of higher intelligence. It is the most powerful thing I've found for people who are trying to figure out, how do I heal? Begin asking, what's the highest possibility here for me? For myself, when I had an autoimmune disease many, many years back in medical school, the question I was asking was, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why is this happening? And the awareness that kept coming in was all about what was wrong with me. You got to fix this and you got to do that and you got to work harder and you got to try better. None of it was helpful. None of it helped me heal. It actually just made everything worse. And when I finally learned to begin asking, what's right about this I'm not getting, insight came in. I was no longer in fight or flight trying to figure it out. I actually let myself come into stillness and was receptive to let something new in, because none of the answers in the whole realm of my reality had anything to offer for me. Nothing was working. Had to let something higher in. This is the place to do that. We've actually seen scientifically that there are these sensory neurites around the heart that register higher frequency information. Like, what would be the best solution for me? What would create robust abundance and health in my life? Those weren't the questions I was asking. Those are the ones I found to actually lead us to unthinkable solutions. I've seen people heal from severe MS who were told they had months to live, cancer tumors shrinking down, many, many women with severe autoimmune disease or thyroid disease, Hashimoto's disease, adrenal fatigue, severe chronic fatigue syndrome. The one underlying factor for most of them was the hopelessness they felt that anything could ever change. And so the one thing I would like to leave you with today is to know your body is a giant receptor. It is constantly receiving and registering information and awareness. And when you buy into a lie, it will contract. There'll be tension in your body. If you're paying attention and you're breathing through your body, as I just showed you, bringing your attention to your body, not just your head, you'll become aware of this very quickly. It feels bad. It feels tense. It feels heavy. That's the energy of that hopelessness. When you remember to check in and ask, what else is possible here I haven't even considered? You'll feel an immediate lightness. That's because this is a different message cellularly, and your body knows, yes, there's more possible. It's okay to stay open and explore. When you buy into the lie, you'll feel contracted. When you remember the truth, you'll immediately feel that expansion. So my invitation to you this week is to begin to practice with these tools. Relax your shoulders, breathe more fully. Bring your attention all the way down into your body. Ask better questions. that will actually connect you with what's possible. Begin to connect with your heart to let higher wisdom in. I have a whole program on this called the Instant Elevation that goes a lot deeper into those tools. But these are some specific things you can start with right now that will go a very long way. I would love to hear from you with your experience with this.